I published a new blog post earlier today, October 25th, that discusses most of my trades over the past few days. I do not discuss all of my stock trades since there are just too many of them. The link to my blog post can be found in my profile page here at YouTube. Just click SouthJet. I continue to be a net buyer of beaten up dividend paying stocks as I start to replace some of the income that I will lose due to lower yields on my T-bill purchases going forward. Those T-bill yields will go down to reflect the cuts in the federal funds rates. The buying so far is concentrated in equity REITs and regional bank stocks. The current goal is to buy be a net buyer of at least $1,000 each week in those kind of stocks. Also bought 50 Treasury bills at last week's auctions, primarily to shift income tax recognition into 2026. I am buying the 3, 4, and 6 month Treasury bills that mature in 2026 by holding those Treasury bills until maturity, which I always do. The interest will be taxed in 2026. A secondary reason justifying the purchases from my perspective as a conservative investor is that I will receive slightly higher income than I would have received by keeping the funds in my sweep accounts. I will probably buy about 50 Treasury bills at next week's auction, divided between the 3, 6, and 4 month Treasury bills again. The September inflation report released yesterday was slightly better than expected. Annual CPI was reported at 3%, up from 2.9% through August and 2.7% for the 12 months ending in July, and at 2.4% for the 12 months ending in May. While stock investors partied on this news, I find no comfort in the trend, particularly since I believe that the tariff-related price increases are only starting to be passed on to U.S. consumers. Trump had another temper tantrum after the government of Ontario province paid for an ad broadcast last night during the World Series game that used excerpts from President Reagan's 5-minute speech on tariffs. Trump claimed that the ad was fake and was falsely representing the views of President Trump, who, in Trump's words, quote, loved tariffs, end quote. He also asserted that Canada was trying to influence the upcoming Supreme Court decision on the legality of Trump's tariff taxes by airing the ad. And Canada did not air the ad, it was the Ontario province that aired the ad. So Trump terminated his trade negotiations with Canada. Canada needs to rely more on trade with other countries. The U.S. they're never going to have a favorable trade arrangement with the U.S. as long as Trump is president. The ad, which uses excerpts from Reagan's address and the video of Reagan's 5-minute and 5-second speech, are both available for viewing on YouTube. The ad is not fake, as Trump claims. There is no way a person could conclude after watching that video that Reagan loved tariffs as represented by Trump. The ad does not misrepresent Reagan's view about tariffs. While the Reagan Foundation published an unsigned statement that the ad misrepresented Reagan's speech, that statement does not explain how the ad misrepresented the speech. After comparing the ad and the full video, the Reagan Foundation statement can consequently be dismissed as the leader of that foundation shamefully succumbing to Trump's pressure to release a statement like they did, President Reagan would have been disgusted and appalled with that person's action, in my opinion. Trump's tirade about terminating the trade negotiations with Canada based on Ontario airing that ad is to prevent Republicans primarily from actually watching the 5-minute video and forming their own conclusion about whether the Ontario ad is fake or misrepresents the opinions that President Reagan had about tariffs. At least they are now made aware of that video if they did not already know about it. Something that I have referenced many times in my videos here at YouTube and my blog posts before October 2025. On another topic, I previously mentioned that I had taken a renewed interest in my baseball card collection after ignoring it for about 4 decades or so. I have sent so far 3 shipments of those vintage baseball cards to SGC that grades the card's condition on a scale from 1 to 10, and then seals the card in a slab that is not easily broken into, as I found out because I had to break into some of the slabs graded by Beckett where they no longer have records of the verification numbers, and I'm submitting those cards off to SGC to be regraded. For the star players like Mantle, Mays, and Koufax, the price differentials at eBay auctions between a high and low grade is just huge. For example, a 1963 Mickey Mantle Topps card, which I did not care for properly, was assigned a 4 grade. This is the card. You can see it's got a 4 grade, and then it's got a little stain down there at the bottom of the page. The card is somewhat off center, which makes a big difference in the grade. And it was commonplace for cards printed during that period to be cut improperly by the machines being used by Topps to cut from the cards from the sheets. I am not responsible for the miscutting of by the Topps machine of the baseball card sheets. As I said, which is a very common problem from this era. I am responsible for the wear on all the corners that reduce the grade, and there is some kind of, as I showed, a small stain on the back that's about the size of a pencil mark. The last auction at eBay for a 4 grade Mickey Mantle 1963 Topps was $445. So I paid a penny for that card, and so that's a decent profit increase that I will experience when I sell it, and I do intend on selling that card at some time. I intend to upgrade the condition of some of my cards in the collection. The last auction price for an A grade was at $4,916. I will not be buying a baseball card anywhere near that kind of price. The card that I own now that probably has the highest value is the 1954 Hank Aaron's rookie card, which I have sent off to be graded. That may be worth about $3,000 at auction.